Guys, update concerning Nnamdi Kanu's case today.
Welcome to the deep dive, your shortcut, really, to getting properly informed. We take all those articles and reports you send us, pull out the key stuff, find the surprising bits, and, well, help you connect the dots without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something very current. The court proceedings for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader, happened just recently.
That's right. Our mission here is pretty specific. We want to unpack what actually happened in court on June 18th, 2025. And we're using the detailed updates and court reports that you, our listeners, provided. Just to be clear, this isn't about us taking sides or agreeing with any particular view. It's about understanding the factual blow-by-blow of that legal session based only on the source material you gave us.
Got it. So just for context, Kanu's facing charges. Yeah. The sources mentioned things like exposing alleged brutal intents of Fulani herdsmen and setting up the Eastern Security Network, the ESN. He says that was for his people's security. And this specific day in court we're looking at, June 18th, it was actually meant to be June 16th, but got pushed back. So we have the reports from the 18th.
Yep.
Okay, so let's set the scene. June 18th, 2025. What was the feeling like in the courtroom? What did the reports say?
Well, according to our sources, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself was apparently in high spirits.
Despite the situation.
Right, despite what the reports describe as shallow abuse of court order and battering of his constitutional rights from the prosecution side. That's the language used in the source.
Okay.
And interestingly, the reports also specifically mention the presence of USA officials there in the courtroom.
Ooh. Watching the trial?
Observing, yes. That definitely adds another dimension to just some level of international attention, maybe.
Yeah, you'd think so. Okay, so officials watching, Kanu in high spirits.
Yeah.
What was the main event? The actual legal business.
The core task for the day was continuing the cross-examination of the fourth masked witness.
Right, masked witness. Always intriguing.
Indeed. The prosecuting counsel hadn't finished questioning this witness at the previous session, so they were picking it back up.
Okay, so first question in this resumed cross-examination. What was it?
The prosecutor started by asking the witness about a Benjamin Madubugu specifically. Was he detained in Abuja?
And the witness's answer?
The witness said yes. Both Madubugu and Kanu were brought before the DSS, the Department of State Services, together.
Okay.
And then the witness added that Kanu allegedly accepted he was the one in the video and exonerated Benjamin Madubugu. So basically took responsibility according to this witness.
Right. That's a pretty direct claim from the witness. So what happened next? The prosecution tried to introduce some documents, right? But it didn't go smoothly.
Not at all. According to the reports, the prosecuting counsel attempted to tender documents, and the judge reacted quite strongly. The report says the judge angrily rejected them.
Angrily rejected. Why? What was the reasoning?
The judge was very explicit. The quote in the report is, "These exhibits cannot be relied upon by this court because it was obtained through illegalities."
Illegalities. Wow.
Yes, as the defendant Mazi Nnamdi was denied legal representatives before obtaining both written statement and verbal interview. So a direct link between lack of legal counsel and the evidence being inadmissible.
That's a major point about due process right there.
Yeah.
Slams the door on that evidence.
Absolutely. It really sets a standard for how evidence needs to be gathered.
So after getting that evidence thrown out, what did the prosecution do? Did they just move on?
They pivoted. Their next move was to present a different document. This one is from the NBC, the National Broadcasting Commission.
Okay, the NBC.
And the witness.
The fourth masked witness looked at it, confirmed they recognized the NBC document. They stated that the NBC came over to examine the transmitter at the DSS headquarters after Mazi Nnamdi Kanu brought in the transmitter.
And the defense team, did they object to this document? Interestingly, no. The report clearly states the defense counsel had no objection to the NBC report. And so, because there was no objection, the court admitted that one as an exhibit.
Fascinating. So, first set of documents, rejected, illegal obtainment. Second set, the NBC one, admitted, no objection. Let's talk about this transmitter then, since the NBC report relates to it.
Yeah.
What did the witness say about it?
Okay, so the witness testified that based on, and this is key, physical observation, the equipment looked like it was intended to be used for broadcasting.
Physical observation.
Okay.
Not technical analysis necessarily, just looking at it.
Seems so, based on the phrasing. The witness also stated that you need approval to import a transmitter into Nigeria, and that approval wasn't obtained.
Right. So the prosecution then asked the obvious question, I assume.
They did, directly. Who is the owner of the transmitter?
And the witness said.
The fourth masked witness was explicit. The defendant is the owner of the transmitter.
Okay, a direct claim of ownership.
Yes, but then it gets even more interesting. The witness then points to a newspaper article specifically, a Vanguard publication dated July 3rd, 2023, for more details.
A newspaper article. As backup for testimony.
Exactly. Now, the defense counsel did object to bringing in this newspaper. Makes sense, it's a secondary source, right?
Yeah, usually.
But the judge overruled the defense. The judge actually marked the publication as exhibit.
Wait, so the judge rejected evidence obtained directly from the defendant without a lawyer, but accepted a newspaper article as an exhibit about him.
That's precisely what the report indicates happened in this session. It's quite a contrast.
It really is. So what was in this Vanguard article that the prosecution then read out?
Well, the prosecution read what was described as the presumed written statement of Uzuma Benjamin, a.k.a. Onyurmi, as reported in the Vanguard.
Okay, presumed statement. And what did it claim?
The claim in the article was pretty shocking. It alleged that Onyurmi, claimed IPOB leader, ordered him to eliminate 2,000 people through his boss, but he succeeded to take down 30, which he regretted.
2,000 people. That's an enormous claim. And it's coming from a newspaper report of someone else's alleged statement.
Yes. And the source material we have makes a point of saying this. The prosecuting counsel is relying on Vanguard publication, not personal investigation, and the defense counsel did not object to this reliance on the newspaper article itself, even though they objected to it being tendered initially.
So no objection to using the newspaper content once it was admitted. Relying on a newspaper, not their own investigation. That feels significant in a trial like this.
It certainly raises questions about the nature of evidence being presented.
Did the questioning get even more intense after reading that?
It did. The prosecutor moved on to ask the witness about the attack on the Owerri prison.
Okay, another major incident.
And the witness's response.
Direct again. The fourth masked witness stated, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu authorized the prison break. Just flat out authorized it. Wow. And then the testimony got quite graphic, didn't it, when the witness described their own job?
Extremely graphic. The witness explained their role was to gather information and report it to my boss. Standard intelligence gathering, maybe? But then they added that they did raid ESN camp, and during one raid, the witness claimed, and this is disturbing content from the report they saw, human heads, bodies, and ESN eating human bodies.
Goodness. That's incredibly jarring testimony to hear in a courtroom, even from a masked witness.
Absolutely. And the source reports it matter-of-factly as part of the testimony given. After that, the prosecutor asked if they'd found this Onyurmi person from the newspaper report.
The one who allegedly made the statement about the 2,000 people.
That's the one. The witness's reply was simple. No, we have not found Uzoma, a.k.a. Onyurmi.
So the person central to that newspaper claim hasn't been located by law enforcement, according to this witness.
Correct. And then circling back one last time to the transmitter.
Yes. Any more documentation?
The witness stated they had no document from the clearing agent covering the transmitter other than the defendant's statement.
So again, reliance on the defendant's alleged statement, not independent paperwork for the import.
That seems to be the summary on that point, yeah.
Okay. After all of that, quite intense testimony and back and forth on evidence. What happened?
The court took a 1-hour break. After they reconvened, the session concluded for the day.
And the trial continues.
Yes, the report states the matter was adjourned to June 19th and 20th, 2025 for continuation. So definitely more to come.
So let's just process this day in court. What does it tell us about, how these things actually work, the information flow?
Well, it's pretty revealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a judge making a very strong stand on due process, rejecting evidence because, allegedly, legal rights were violated during its collection.
Right, the illegally obtained statements.
Exactly. But then, in almost the same breath, that same judge allows a newspaper report containing some really severe secondhand allegations to be entered as an exhibit.
It feels contradictory almost.
It highlights the complexity, and then you layer on top the testimony of a masked witness making these incredibly graphic claims about ESN camps and direct authorizations for prison breaks. It shows how diverse and sometimes problematic the information presented in court can be.
Yeah, it's not all clean DNA evidence and signed confessions, is it?
Not at all. This deep dive really peels back the layers, I think. You see the evidence itself, you see the arguments about how it was obtained, and you see the judge acting as this crucial gatekeeper, deciding what gets considered and what doesn't.
And it really hammers home how important it is to look at the source of information, even inside a courtroom. Is it direct testimony? Is it a document obtained legally? Is it a newspaper article?
Precisely. The provenance of the information is critical.
So for you listening, this isn't just about this specific trial. It's a window into the mechanics of court cases. They unfold with all these specific details, these legal arguments about procedure, these different kinds of truth being presented. And it all shapes the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Definitely challenges any simple assumptions about court proceedings.
So maybe here's something for you to think about. When you see a situation like this, where evidence obtained directly from a defendant without a lawyer is thrown out, but claims from a newspaper article are allowed in as an exhibit, what does that signal?
Yeah, what does that tell you about the practical realities of evidence in court, about judicial discretion, especially when the claims in that secondary source are so extreme and the person quoted apparently hasn't even been found?
What stands out most to you about the kind of information that was accepted versus rejected in just this one day of proceedings? It really makes you think about how truth is constructed in a legal setting, doesn't it?
If you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe now and don't forget to turn on your notification button for more live stories.